All right, we're gonna go ahead and go live, even though the neighbor, um, yeah, the neighbor is mowing their grass right now. But hey, I'm just saying that's what makes planning dope, right? So we're gonna go ahead and go live. But I got some great news. We got a lot of updates, and I had to share this. The creative team got this together, not this page right here, but the creative team has been working on this. I kind of gave it back to them. I'm like, yeah, I don't like it, in a nice way. And I was like, we got to make this better. And they know I'm big on the 12-week year. If you haven't read the book, I'll put it in the link. I'm probably going to go live again later on tonight. But the 12-week year by David Moran. It's get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. A game changer, because think about it, we are so used to planning annually, right? And so I'm going to do 12 weeks, but 12 weeks, but I'm definitely going to be doing like 21 days of just planning, period. Okay? So we're going to be touching upon a little bit of everything. But why the 12-week year works, right? Because most of us, when we have our goals, right, we wait. Well, I don't know about y'all, but like right around October, it's like, oh crap, I didn't do, what I said I was going to do. And then you're scrambling and you're frustrated. So the 12-week year is, you're still looking at long-term goals. You're still looking at long-term goals. You're still looking at 3 to 5 year goals. But you're saying, but for the first 12 weeks, all I'm going to focus on are these three goals right here. And we've always had a planner inserts, like our dope inserts. We've always had an insert for goal setting, but it was just goal setting. I know that sounds bad, but it was goal setting. But now we have a planner that will walk you through the process, and we incorporated the 12-week year strategy. Again, I would definitely read the book. Listen to the audio, definitely get the book. The book, this is probably one of those things you don't want to skimp on. Get the book and get the workbook, because they work hand in hand. But this allows you, as well, to take the time to go through, like, what are your goals. So this is the updated new One Dope Planner goal setting planner, right? And it's an insert. It is hyperlinked, and we're going to go over each one of these pages very quickly. It even goes over the process, the steps to goal setting. You're going to write down 10 goals. Like, what are the 10? So if you have not done this, this is a great time to do it, right? So if you haven't done it, this is a great time to take the time to write those 12, those 10 goals that you want to accomplish for the year, right? And then separate them in quadrants, right? So that's the next step. We're going to assign them into 12-week segments, because yes, you got 10 things that you want to get done this year, but you ain't going to be able to do all 10. But strategically and intentionally, you can, if you segment them out into 12 weeks. Right? Some of those goals may overlap, some of them may be in more quadrants. And then you're going to create lag and lead goals for each goal, and you're going to track it. And then you're going to write down each goal, and you're going to do a draft, and you're going to finalize it. So this is going to make you go through the process, right? This is not for you to do extra work. This is for you to do the work that you need to do. And I think sometimes people, and maybe let me just talk about me. Um, so I'm hearing my mentor in my head, not people. Sometimes I'll say, this is what I want to do, but I really don't have a plan in place. But I know I got to do certain things in order for it to happen. But in order for me to be successful, I really got to track it. I mean, every business has a tracking system. When I was in pharmaceuticals, they knew how many calls I needed to make them money. Okay, that's a whole nother TED Talk. All right, so you can tell I'm really excited about this. So it usually, when I talk to people, it's like I just don't have like a system. Like, I got these goals, but then I forget about them, and I don't have anything to really track it with. So the key, and then of course the key tips, and then whatever your mind can conceive, it can achieve. I love Napoleon Hill. I'm just saying, and you just write your name there. So let's just get into it. So here's where you're going to write your 10 goals. So whatever your list of 10 goals are, you're going to write them down. So I'm going to write one of mine down, and I'm just going to do this really quickly. Like, one of mine is a health goal. Notice it is I am. So I'm going to quit, I weigh, I read, I earn, I have, I save, right? I build, right? So I'm going to say I run a so this year I run a 10K, right? That's my goal, right? So are you then this again, this is why this is here. So if you need to say, okay, this year I want to run a 10K, but I know I got to run a 5K first. So you can write it all down and then you go back and say, I run a 10K. Done. Right? All right, so we're just going to go with that one for this purpose. And then from these 10 goals, you would put them in these quadrants. Now here is the game changer. Game changer is you're like, okay, so how do I do that? I got to go back and forth and back and forth. This is what I love about digital planning. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open this up. So what I did, I don't see if you saw it in the bottom. I opened up or swiped up to bring up my little menu down there. And I'm going to do a dual screen and I'm going to open it up again. So that way, on the left side, I have those goals, and on the right side, I'm going to put them in a quadrant. So you can rewrite it, or you can just lasso and copy it and then paste it over here. Look at them apples. This is what I love about it. So this would go into my health and spiritual, right? I run a 10K, right? And then now you got to see it. Like so in this insert, you're also going to have a link, and it's actually right here. I wonder, will it open? Let's find out. There is a link, press and hold, that should open up Canva and look at that. And there is your free link from me so you can do your vision board. So you would open up your picture and drag and drop them into, right? So take the time to do that. So I have this vision board on my phone and I'm going to show you. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna do this really quick so y'all can see it. I don't know what pictures are gonna pop up. All right, there they go. And I'm just going to replace this right here. So this is after I've done it in Canva. And there it is. Strategically placed, right? Um, so look at that. Travel. This is I'm looking at business, so my business goals to go there. Look, I don't know about y'all, but I want a black card. Okay. Bora Bora. There's the running the 10K, right? So there's the running the 10K, right? And you can, once you write the goal in present tense, right? You could put the actual one here. And here is the thought process. You can either, I'm going to do another video where you can actually put your goal right there. So you could just use the text feature. I'm just going to put, I run a 10K, right? And you put that there, and I can actually link it to a page in the notebook. So let's just find a page real quick. Let's see if it'll let me do it. So let's just say that's goal number 1. So I'm going to link it to that page because that's goal number 1. So now if I really want to just operate off of this page, it'll take me to page 1. I know I did that fast. Go back and rewind, right? All right. But again, this is what I love about digital planning. And I put my own little phrase in there. I deserve it. Keyword. I work for it though. All right. So then plan it out. Remember, you got 10. You really should only be doing 3 at a time. All right. 3 goals at a time. All right. So when are you going to do it? So the first week, let's just say the first 12 weeks, I'm going to focus on running this 10K. Oops. I don't know why it's not pasting. FYI, I am in, yes, I am in Noteful. A lot of people are using Noteful right now. I'm still the only thing, well, that's a whole nother video. There's some things I like, there's some things I don't. All right. So, but I'm gonna come back to that. There's a different video. But so far everything is good. I think it works for the majority. Um, but so I'm gonna put that in my first 12 weeks. I'm gonna map it out. Here's the thing, it may not look pretty when you map it out, but just map it out. That's the key. You just gotta map it out. All right, so first 12, second 12, third 12. And so here's what I do love about the 12-week year. Most people, and I've done the 30, 60, 90 day. This is why I love the 12-week year because I've done the 30, 60, 90 day. And most people do 30, 60, 90 days is they start at like June 1st. Okay. It just happens it's June 1st when I'm recording this, but they always start at the first of the month. But what if you make a decision in the middle of the month? What if you make a decision on a Wednesday that, you know what, I got to do something different? Most people will wait till Monday to start. No, start right now. And that's what I love about the 12-week year is your week can start on Wednesday. That's week 1. Day 1, week 1. Right? So if your week, starts now, so let's just say mine is let's just say it's we'll just say it's today. All right? So June 1st. Oops. Then what is this thing doing? Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put June 1st. Go to my handy dandy chat GPT. What is 12 weeks from today? And it's going to calculate it for me. Or Siri. Me and ChatGPT are pretty good though. All right. It's August 23rd, right? So that these 12 weeks are going to be from June 1st to August 23rd. It'll be here before you know it. All right. So that's step 1. So you're going to take all of these goals over here and you're going to fit them. The ones that have to be done that are more urgent, some may fall into the others because remember we're doing like the 4 quadrants. And if one of your goals doesn't fit the quadrant, then, put a new little title on it. All right. Then you got your vision board and then you got your 12 weeks, right? And you're going to place them. You may have 12 weeks, you may have to do 4 goals. Usually 3 is the max. Then we made sure, and this is one of the things I talked to um, the creative team about is we got to make sure people understand lead versus lag, right? Lead versus lag, right? So one of the things with the lead versus lag indicators, so just think of lag indicators as it is the result, right? It's the result or the outcome, and you measure after it's done, right? So I ran the 10K. How do I know I ran the 10K? Well, I have the results of the 10K, right? But there's gonna, I can't just say I run a 10K. There's action that has to happen in order for me to run a 10K. Like, I need to go walk, right? I need to walk, run, or maybe I need to do a 5K before the 10K, right? The timing, all of that, right? So the lag is the outcome, the lead is the behavior. For me, the problem was that this was the part that wasn't being tracked. I wanted that to happen though. Y'all with me? I wanted this is the outcome, but I wasn't tracking the behavior that had to be done, the work. That's what I call it, the work, right? So take the time to go over this. You got the vision. Now I got these goals. I'm gonna start with my first 3. And here's the thing. Um, the caution is don't figure out all of these for all of your 10. Just do those first 3, right? So I put an example. If you're in a business, you're recruiting people, hint, hint, right? This is the result. I recruited 12 people. So how many calls did I make? How many appointments, right? I wanted to complete 60 appointments a week. In pharmaceuticals, I had to complete 40 appointments a week, right? So I had to book appointments in order to have the appointments. It's the same thought process. Close 5 or more transactions. Well, what needs to happen? And these are just examples. Again, the lag indicator. I want to lose 10 pounds or I lose 10 pounds. Well, you can't just say I lose 10 pounds if you don't eat right, work out, and all of that, right? All right, so I'm preaching to the choir. So here's a pro tip on the side. You should have one lag indicator and at least two to three lead indicators for the lag indicator, right? And some of your goals may have, depending on the goal, may have more than three, but try not to go over more than that because you'll just overwhelm yourself. Now, one of those indicators may be, let's just look on this. If it's setting appointments, whatever industry you're in, well, you may have to take the first part may be the lead indicator, the action that you have to do before all the other actions happen, right? So you may have more than that. And then this is just a draft example, but then you're going to go directly in. You're going to go directly in, and you're going to start brainstorming. So you're going to write down, right? So this is the lag indicator. I run a 10K. And maybe there is a time in, so I think, so last time I did 13.3. All right, so let's say this 10K, I want to run it in, um, let's say 12:30. I want to shave off a minute. Okay, 12:30, 12-minute miles, right? So my lag indicator, I run a 10K, and then by, what did we say it was? August? Here's the other thing. If you can't remember, there's the buttons down at the bottom that are hyperlinked. This goes back to this 12-week goal page by August 23rd. And that was my goal number one. So I'm going to go to goal number one, and it'll take me back there by August 23rd, right? So that's the lag indicator. And you can write the whole thing down, right? And, nicer. But it's a 10K, 12.3 by 8:23. Again, this is the draft, right? So here's the steps. So here's probably a crucial step. I need to research some 10Ks races. It's just because I want to do it. So that's the thing I need to figure out. Do I want to do it in be timed? But I put a time on there, right? And maybe I need to do the 5K first. I don't know, right? Whatever it may be. So then I need to, run at least 3 times a week. And maybe I need to go talk to a coach, right? So some of these are to-dos, but this is the big action. That's something that's going to have to be done on a weekly basis. Some of these are just a check, check, and then it's the time, right? So here, then you have strategic time blocks and buffer time blocks. So this is more so for, like, I would say more business things. So a strategic time block, you're going to take like 3 hours, and all you're doing is working on one of these actions, right? Maybe it's prospecting. You take 3 hours, and all you do is prospect, make calls, set appointments to see your clients, customers. And then you have these buffer blocks, right, to do all the other stuff. So like admin, maybe the buffer block um for the running is, calling, calling the coach, right? Whatever admin you do for running, but I think y'all are kind of getting it. Right. So you're going to have to give something to get it. And in order for me to get this goal, I'm going to have to give time of 45 minutes at least 3 times a week to do it. Okay. All righty. And then you would write down some of the actions. So remember, this is the draft. So you're brainstorming what I need to do, what I need to do. And then here you just put the plan in place. Okay. And then what week you're going to complete it by. Because even though you're taking 12 weeks, maybe one of those steps is by, week 2. So maybe week 2, there's an app called Couch to 2K. And I've used that one before Couch to 5K. And I've used that one for running. But maybe by week 2, um, you run 3 times a week and you run 2 miles because the 10K is 6.2, right? So some of these things, again, this is why you got to get the book because the book helps you along with this process. All right. And then here is the final. So there's the draft, there's the final, and then you can come back here, any miscellaneous notes, any resources that you may need, any adjustments you may have to do, right? Now, and then you would do the same thing as this is a post. So this is after the 12 weeks is over. Go back, kind of do a quick assessment. But while you are doing this, you are tracking your activity, right? So let's go to week 1. So those are your weeks up top, regardless of the goal. Those are your weeks. You should only be really you going doing 3 goals, but I put an extra one on there just in case. So my goal number 1 is um, I run a 10K, 12.30, and by 8:23. Okay, I'm just kind of paraphrasing. You could type that out, make it look pretty. So maybe my lead action items, that's what A1 is. Lead action item is I have to run 3 times a week. And maybe my first week, I'm running 3 times a week and I'm at least running a full, like maybe the first week I run a full half mile. Maybe the second week I run a full mile, right? Y'all see what I'm going? 1.5 miles, right? Other part of that is I probably need to be doing some stretching. So maybe I'm running 3 times, but I'm stretching twice a week. Let me kind of get rid of that. I'm kind of blowing through this because I just want everybody to kind of see the thought process. So maybe I'm stretching 2 times a week. I run 3 times, stretch 3 times. Maybe the next, not on this one here, but maybe on week 2, I'm running 3 times a mile straight because I may do a run walk, a run walk, and a mile of that run walk has to be straight running, right? Stretching, and then maybe that next week I incorporate yoga, or the next week I incorporate Pilates with the run, right? Because right, all right. And so when you're tracking it, so let's just say this is my first week, so 0601, 25, and if you want to, you can put to the next whatever that next week is. Again, you would do this a lot nicer. But this is what I love about digital planning. It ain't gotta be pretty, just gotta be done. All right. So the goal is to run 3 times a week. So you can actually come in and let's just put a dot. So you can come in and either put a dot, you can check. So maybe I run Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but I do Pilates, here and here. But I need to check that I'm getting that done. So in this case only, my goal is 3 times, not all 7. So my total for that activity should be 3. If I'm running 3 out of 3, I am winning. That's 100%. My goal is to stretch twice a week, check, and maybe I only do 1 of 2, not winning, 50%. Maybe I should probably do 3. And so you get kind of the gist that if it's something that you're supposed to do every day, here's a way to check and see if I'm doing that. All right. Now, you can use this as a standalone. And then the next page, here you can also use that weekly scorecard. I kind of put both in just in case. So you can, have both. But this is really more so for like taking notes if you needed to take notes from the week or something. I always encourage people, how are you going to celebrate your accomplishments for the week? Yeah, I say if you get a score that you've done more than 85% of what you're supposed to do, you need to celebrate for sure. Okay. And actually the book says that too. Alrighty. So you have that and you're going to be tracking this, right? So this is the week. So you're going to take each goal and you can look at the total. right? But I would say look individually because remember this, if this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. In this case, either that or when you run the 10K, it's going to be pretty brutal, right? Same thing with business. If these don't happen, that doesn't happen. So that's why we have to track the things that make the goal happen. Okay. I know it sounds like elementary, but honestly, if you walked up to somebody and said, "Hey, do you track your, your activity like in order to hit the goal?" A lot of people don't. It's either in their head, but it's not on paper somewhere, right? Again, so each one of these is hyperlinked to the week. What you can do is, I've done this in some of our old planners, is I'll go up and I may put 6-1, 6-8, 6-15 on the top. So that way I know that that one's going to, oops, oh, I'm already on 6-8. That's why I did that. All right. It's going to that one, to that corresponding day. And normally I would do that up here somewhere on the front page. So you have, again, each corresponding for each goal, but you're only going to tackle three at a time. You're only going to tackle these three. That's it. So here's 1, 2, 3. If you add an extra one, great. And then when the next one comes around, then you go here. So whatever, 823 or 824, then you go there. So how would I incorporate this into my planner? I'm so glad you asked. So because of digital planning, you can. So this is my weekly tracker. I'm gonna go to, oh, here it is. Duh. All right, I'm gonna go back to my planner. So this is like a template of my schedule. I know it looks crazy, but this is the schedule. And I'm gonna create a link for my tracker. Yeah, I'm gonna make it pretty later. Not well, I'll just do this really quick. Boom. Okay. So I'm gonna create a link for it. I'm gonna link it to the notebook, but not this notebook. I'm gonna link it to that notebook, this one, the goal tracker. And then I'm gonna link it to a page. Come on now. All right. So that first goal tracker, the weekly, I'm looking at the weekly tracker, is this page 49. Okay. So for this week, I'm sitting here and I'm writing all my, I got my strategic blocks. I've mapped out my exercise. So if I wake up and I'm like, I know I need to run, but I can't run at 7, I'm going to have to move it to 4. So I have time for Bible study, right? I can move all that around. But if I want to track at the end of the week, I'm going to press and hold and it'll take me to that one dope goal tracker. Boom. Just saying. Okay. All right, y'all. It is so dope. So, so dope. Digital planning. You gotta love it. But I'm so excited. I can't wait to finish mine. I'm gonna go live later and finish mine and kind of show you how that's done. But it's a walkthrough where you can just take your time and just focus on the three goals that you are going to accomplish in these next 12 weeks and nothing else. Nothing else. If it's taking a test, if it's running a 10K, if it has something to do with your business, if it has something to do um, mindset wise, whatever it is, just focus on those three goals for the next 12 weeks. You will get so much done if you treat every week like it's a month. You surprise yourself. I know I did. So we're excited about it. It will be dropping tonight at midnight. on the new e-commerce site. They're almost done with it. They're doing little, last minute things. The mid-year, not the mid-year, the yearly planners are 50% off. So you will see those. And then if you are already a One Dope planner, you will get another email, or if you're in our group, you'll get an email about a pre-sale for the mid-year planners. And it's only going to be for 24 hours. So you don't want to miss it. So planning is dope, definitely, with the new One Dope Planner goal setting guide, and we're excited about it. The creative team, shout out to y'all. Y'all did a phenomenal job once again, and bringing kind of the vision that we had for it. So I just wanted to take the time to share it. Y'all have a good one, and God bless, and we'll see you soon. Always remember that planning is dope with One Dope Planner, though, right? So if you don't have one, you need to go get one and go check out the other videos, right, to see our planning system.